Good afternoon. How are we all doing? So this is the second of a series of live webinars I'm doing from my bedroom here down in Brighton. And this one is on synchronizing your music and your lights. All right, let's get started. So, a little bit about the setup. If anyone wants to know exactly how we have all this set up, I would advise you check back to the previous webinar that we did last week. There I explained basically what lights I had connected, how to connect them, how to set the positions, how to set them in the right order, and you can see those probably just below because it was just last week. It's about half an hour long and then some questions afterwards. So today we're going to go into synchronizing Light Rider with your music. Now just a little disclaimer. In fact, let me put me in the corner here. There we go. Hello. We have tons and tons of technology today. I've got a whole load of different software that I've been experimenting, synchronizing with Light Rider. We have about 2 or 3 phone cameras, iPads, DJ controllers, lighting controllers, not to mention this lighting rig that we have right over here. So yeah, just bear with us if some things don't go quite as planned. So where shall we start? Let's start with the most simple way of synchronizing your lights, which is using the microphone on your tablet. So if I bring up the iPad here, let's go like this. Okay, hopefully you can see most of that. I know in the last tutorial I blocked some stuff in the corner with the picture-in-picture. I'll try and be aware of that this time. Okay, so easiest way to synchronize your lights with your music is to use the microphone. All tablets have them, and the microphone level can be found in the top corner just over here. You can probably see as I'm speaking the little level is going up and down. So what we can do, I'm just going to take out these scanners so we just see the moving heads and the X-Bricks. I'll put a little bit of smoke into the room because why not? Okay, so if I hit this effect here, this is the disco effect, and basically the lights change colour to the beat of the music. I'll add a couple more colours in there. Let's add a red and a yellow and a green. Okay, so you can see these changing, and right now they're just using the clock. So if I hit the speed button here, we can speed it up like this. It looks like when you connect your lights without Light Rider. And we can slow the lights down like so. Okay, now if we hit this little button in the corner here, at the moment it's a clock. So if I tap it once, it turns into a little metronome. It's a little bit difficult to see on the camera. And if I hit it a second time, it turns into a microphone. And basically it uses the microphone of your tablet to change the colours. And different effects respond in different ways. So for example, if I go to the little carousel effect down here, this one kind of shows 2 colours at a time and it jumps between the colours. We can also add a little bit of fade as well. I think this works. There we go. So if you want something that's not so drastic, which kind of fades to another colour when you receive a pulse, then try the fade there. That can be quite a nice effect. What I often do, I often use this effect earlier on at a gig. I'll generally take a disco effect. I'll cut out all the lights except for just like a couple of moving heads because it's good to build up your shows. You know, just start with a few lights and then add a few more and then a few more and then a few more. So if I go like this, I've just got my 2 moving heads, and I can basically go like that. If I go to the rainbow, I can add a little bit of fade onto this, maybe 50% fade. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. So that is the microphone. And the move effects over here also respond to the microphone. So if I just bring in the scanners, you have to make that noise when you bring them in. Okay, so these ones also react to the microphone, but you have to click the little microphone over here. So if I go to here, and these react differently depending on which effect you've got selected. So this simple center effect, they kind of twitch in and out a little bit. By the way, just to let you know why I'm clapping and not actually playing some music, I live in an apartment block, and you have to crank it. You have to crank up the volume a little bit to get the sound to light working properly. And I have neighbours, so luckily lights don't make a lot of sound. So setting up a big lighting rig's okay. Setting up a big sound rig is well, I can't really do it here. So yeah, you'll have to just put up with me clapping for now. So let's try another one. Let's try the tilt effect. Let's take a little bit of fan off this. So we've got the lights pointing towards the camera. Okay. Now this one kind of just speeds up a little bit. So you see it's kind of just giving them a little kick from behind. Each time you hear a beat, they just kind of speed up a little bit. And you can, I think you can take off, yeah, let's try this one, this circle one. So again, these are making a circle. And they just kind of hurry up a little bit. So that's the most simple way of getting music and lights to work together and to be a little bit more coordinated than when you just use the clock. I'll just put these back in the center again. Now sometimes we're asked if, let me just turn that off. Sometimes we're asked if there's a better way of getting you know, a higher quality audio signal into the tablet, whether that be a better microphone or a line out directly from your DJ controller and into your tablet. So I just wanted to show you a few options that we have, because in fact all tablets, and in fact all iPads certainly, and now a lot of Androids, allow you to connect a USB microphone or a USB audio interface. And as long as that audio interface doesn't require any special drivers, you can actually patch an audio interface directly into your iPad and also a lot of the newer Android tablets. So I'm going to throw up my computer screen here. This is just Photoshop. It's a very primitive slideshow that I've just thrown together here. So to connect a USB device to a tablet, let's start with Android. So on Android, you need something called an on-the-go or an OTG cable. I'm sure many of you have seen these before. They come in 2 different flavors. So you have this kind of cable here, which has a micro USB or a USB-C socket on one side, and that's what you plug into your tablet. And then on the other side, you have a standard USB socket. So you could plug, for example, your sound card directly into here, and then your tablet will detect that sound card, hopefully, if it doesn't require any special drivers, and then you can plug a fancier microphone into your audio interface, or you could take a line output like a jack cable from the back of your DJ controller or mixing desk and feed that in for a better audio quality and hopefully a better sound to light. This one over here, it's pretty much the same, but we've got this extra little connector here, and this actually allows you to plug it into a power supply, because obviously if you're going to connect an audio interface into your laptop that's going to require power, and you want to save that power for your lighting. You don't want it to run out of battery halfway through the night, so that allows you to plug it into a power supply. Now, these things are a little bit hit and miss. Some work and some don't. Some work part of the time, some work all the time. And unfortunately, there's not really a standard to go by. But what we found from our tests is any that kind of look like this, that have this kind of shape, generally work quite well. And what you'll often find is it will say that the tablet's not charging, but it will hold its charge, or it will go down to like 1% and it will just stay at 1%. So it's just worth trying these out. Don't buy one on a Thursday night and then go and do a gig on a Friday night, or buy one on a Friday afternoon and do a gig on a Friday night, because maybe they're going to be temperamental. It's all trial and error, but you can get them from Amazon for about £5, euros or dollars, even less in some cases, £3. So I'd recommend you buy a few and try them out. Moving on to the iOS. So with iOS, you have the Lightning to USB adapter. Sometimes it's called the camera connection kit. And these come in two varieties. I'm not sure if Apple still sell this one, but again, this one just allows you to connect something directly into a tablet, and it's what I'm actually using today. This live stream, I'm talking through a microphone that's going into a sound card that's then connected to an iPad using this connector, and I find they work pretty well. Then you get this type, which has the power connector. So that goes into a power supply, and then you connect your sound card or audio interface into that type. Now, if you do already have this type, or if you're having problems with this type with power, a powered USB hub is often a good idea. So I'll just show you what setup I have. I'm actually using this device. It's called a Claret 2, and it's by Focusrite. And it's got a couple of very nice preamps, perhaps a little bit over the top just for running audio for sound analysis, but it works really well with the iPad. And then what I use with that is one of these. It's a TP-Link powered USB hub. And this basically, it has a power supply, so it's powered. You plug your sound card into here, and then you plug the USB hub into your Lightning connector. And I found everything to be very stable with this device. So they're just a few ideas of different USB devices you can connect into your iPad or Android for better sound to light and a better sound quality. Another option, which to be honest, if you're looking for something just for a better sound to light, this is probably a better option. You can buy these kind of things. Now, they're meant for guitarists, and they connect into your headphone socket. And basically, you would normally plug your guitar into this socket here, and then you would normally plug this into your tablet. But they can also be used with a line input. I think plugging in a microphone probably wouldn't work. You're going to get impedance matching problems because it's meant for an instrument, but plugging a line input should be all right. It's got a gain control on the side here, so you can control the volume going in. So what I'd recommend with a device like this, take a jack cable or an RCA cable out of the back of your DJ controller or your mixer, plug it into here, and then just plug that into the top of your tablet. And the great advantage with that is it means you've still got your Lightning or your USB connector to be able to power your tablet if you need to. These devices are also pretty inexpensive. This one's from IK Multimedia. It's a really popular one. You see it's 40 euros. If you want an even cheaper one, I haven't tried this one, but it should work. It's called the Go Guitar by TC Helicon. And TC Helicon, I'm pretty sure now owned by Behringer, so they are slashing all those prices. And I think you can get one of these for around 25 euros. And it's just a really quick and simple way. You've got that gain control on the side again, so you can control your input levels. So if anyone does try one of these out, I'd be really interested to see how you get on with it. Just a little bit of information about how these little cables work. They're basically they are called, I can't even remember the name, it's tip ring ring sleeve. Yeah, so it's TRRS. And it's like a normal jack connector, but you get an extra ring. So you might have heard TRS before, which stands for tip ring sleeve, but these are tip ring ring sleeve because they can do left and right audio and they can do a microphone as well. Now, something to watch out for, there are actually two standards, the CTIA standard and the OMTP standard. Generally, all devices nowadays use the CTIA standard. I think Apple kind of pushed that standard a lot by using it in all devices, and everyone else followed. So just double check that. But you see the difference is the microphone and the ground are in a different order depending if you've got the CTIA or the OMTP. So again, give it a go. Drop me a message. See, I'd be really interested to see how you get on with those. So moving on. I think we've exhausted everything about the microphone now. How to use the internal microphone, how to get a sound card in. So now let's move on to BPM tap. So I'm going to bring this in over here and this here. Okay. So the second type of audio analysis is BPM tap. And this works exactly how you might think. You tap the BPM here and the lights will change to the music. So if I bring my lights in again. Okay. So if I go back to, let's take these scanners out again. Let's bring in the LED bars. A little bit more smoke in the room. Okay. So right now we've got this on microphone. Again, it might be quite hard to see on the camera here because it's quite bright. So I'm going to tap it again to go to clock. And I'm going to tap it again to go to BPM tap. I'm going to trigger the disco. So you see, if I tap here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. They tap. They change to the tap. And if I want to change the speed of this, if I open the speed mode, you see this is different now. It's now segments instead of a slider. And that's because this is synchronized with the tap. So imagine you want to change the color twice every time you tap. We set speed and we select half. So you see now it's playing at double the speed. If we want it to change 4 times, we select quarter. If we want it to change color every 2 taps, we select 2. Every 4 taps, we select 4. Back to 1, it will change on every tap. And again, these will work with the other effects. Let's try this symmetrical effect here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And this also works with the move effects. So if I take this off, bring the scanners back up. Let's move the lights up and down. And over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to remove the shift off this so you can see exactly what's going on. So it's going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, you can change the speed here if you want them to move a little more slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's basically all there is to the BPM tap. It's useful when you're doing live stuff. You know, if you've got a band that's playing, it can be nice to tap the button here and have it synchronized. But obviously it's not very practical when you're actually doing a DJ set because you're busy with the music. The reason we made Light Rider so easy to use was because we know that you're busy mixing tracks. You don't have time to be coming over here and tapping the BPM constantly. So we started looking for other ways that you could synchronize your lights. And this brings me on to the next part, which is Ableton Link. So, Ableton Link. I'll just bring this here, this over here. Stop these from moving. Okay, so Ableton Link. It was supposed to be the savior for synchronizing different devices. And honestly, it's really easy to set up. You press link in the Light Rider app, you press link in the DJ software, you make sure the tablet and the DJ software are on the same network. So should be simple, right? But unfortunately, a lot of these DJ software manufacturers, they haven't really implemented it in a way that it's easy to use for DJs. I've been playing about with several different DJ software packages over the past few days. I've found that Traktor works very, very well. So I'm going to do my demonstration today using Traktor. I've also tested Virtual DJ. Virtual DJ doesn't work so well, and I'll explain why that is. I've got a version of Virtual DJ here as well. I've also tested with Algoriddim DJ. It's becoming a really popular app because it works with the streaming services. Again, that has a lot of the same kind of problems that Virtual DJ has. Then obviously there's Serato, which is one of the most popular pieces of software. Now we've got a problem with Serato in that I can't actually test it. The reason is I've bought the software, but you have to have a controller connected, a physical compatible DJ controller to be able to use Serato. I've been in contact with their technical support team and they were not very helpful. They basically I asked them if it was possible to get a build that we can play with to get the app and the software working seamlessly. And I just got a response saying, please contact the sales team. So I've contacted the sales team, and I'm sure they're going to respond to say, please contact the tech team. So we'll see. I think if you want any progress made on this, I think we all just have to email these people. If they get enough emails, they're going to look into it. But it's a shame because Ableton have done a great job. It's such a good system, but it's just not implemented very well on a lot of these platforms. I'm going to show you how it works anyway. So we're going to have a little theory lesson first because we all love theory. So let me get my computer back up here. Okay, Ableton Link. So just to bring up the Ableton website. So the point of Ableton Link is to be able to synchronize multiple devices together. So you see on this picture, there's a guy playing a keyboard with Ableton Live. There's someone else using like a sequencer app. There's someone else making beats. And I see there's a push controller there as well. And the idea is that all the BPMs sync between all the devices. Now, the main thing to understand about Ableton Link is there's no master or slave devices. It's kind of just a collaborative tempo. It's called the session tempo. So when the first device starts the session, it sets the session tempo, and then every time another device connects, it will take that session tempo. And if you change on one device, the tempo will change on all devices. So first, what you need to be able to do is connect your iPad or your Android to the same network as your laptop. So there are a couple of ways of doing this. So the first way is using access point mode. Now, the way this works, this is the default way that our LR512 devices work. It's called AP mode. And you've probably seen this network before, Smart DMX, and then you have a serial number of your device. So you connect your tablet to your Smart DMX interface, your LR512, just like you normally would. And then you also connect your PC to the device as well. The device does let you have two different things connected to it at the same time. So you have your tablet connected to your LR512, and then you take your DJ computer and you connect that to the same LR512. This doesn't work in all circumstances though, because sometimes maybe you already have your DJ software on another network. Maybe you're streaming some music. Maybe you're in a club and you have it connected to a club network. Not always recommended, by the way, but you know, sometimes this happens. So the other way is to actually set up your LR512 to connect to an existing network, and this is called station mode. So the way station mode works is you take a router, you take your tablet, and you connect your tablet to that router, and then you take your DJ software, you connect it to the same router, and you take your LR512 and you connect your LR512 to the same router. So now everything is on the same network. Now you're probably wondering how you can connect your LR512 to your router. And to do this, you need to use the hardware manager, which is available on our website. You need to connect an LR512 by USB to your PC or Mac. And the hardware manager looks something like this. So you see your LR512 over here. You select the network button here, and then the various networks appear in a list here. You select the network you want to connect to, and then you click connect. And at the moment I'm in dual mode. So what that means is the device will still appear as Smart DMX if you want to connect directly, but if you want to use an existing network, you can also access your device on an existing network. And basically this is saved inside the device, so if you unplug the device and connect it back again, it will automatically connect to the network and a little blue LED will appear on the device. So that's the first thing to do. Before you use Ableton Link, make sure that your LR512, your tablet and your DJ software are all connected to the same computer. Once all that's done, you should be good to go. So I am going to try a little demo here with Traktor. So this is Traktor Pro 3. I think it's also compatible with Traktor Pro 2. So it's a little bit small here, but maybe you can see in the top corner you have this little button here called Link. So you need to press that button first, and then you need to go back into Light Rider, go into the menu here, select Ableton Link down here, and you can enable that in the corner here. Sorry, it's really bright on the camera. And once you've enabled it, you'll see something at the top saying like 2 links or something like this. And once you're connected, you'll see the word link here. You'll see the BPM here. So here it's 123, which matches the BPM I have in Traktor over here. So if I go back, if I just zoom out actually of this camera so you can see my DJ controller as well. I've got a Traktor Control S4 over here. Going to make it a little bit brighter. Okay, and the 2 important buttons that you need to know on this particular controller is this one over here and this one over here. It's a little bit in the dark, but these buttons are called master. And in fact, I've got a little diagram just how Ableton Link actually works. I think it's this one here. So basically you have Ableton Link session. Let's say it's 130 beats per minute. You open Light Rider, and Light Rider will take the BPM from the session. If Light Rider's the first device to connect, it will send the BPM to the session, but that's the only time Light Rider ever sends the BPM, if it's the first device to connect. After that, it just reads the BPM from the session. And then you start Traktor, which is what we've just done, and you press the link button at the top, and then that will send the BPM to Light Rider, which is what's happened here. We've got a BPM of 123. By the way, for those of you who are wondering about the accuracy of the BPM, even though we don't have a decimal place, it does calculate it to a higher to a higher precision than what you see here. It just truncates the number so it looks a little bit clearer on the display. So then after that, you've got your decks. So you've got 130 BPM master in Traktor. Now let's say we've got 130 on deck 1 and 120 on deck 2. And I hit the master button, so that's this button over here on this controller. If any of you use Traktor with a controller, you should have a master button on your controller. And what will happen is it will send the BPM of the song. So in my case, Midnight Funk, you might be able to see down here, it's 123 BPM. And it sends it over to here. And then as I increase this with the slider here, it might be a little difficult to see again, but now this is at 129 or 129.6, and Light Rider has synchronized here. If I slow it down, it's the same. So if I play this song, I'll bring in the lights so we can see what's going on. And I don't know how that looks on the stream, but it's perfectly accurate where I'm sat here. And I can slow it down. And the lights slow down with the music. Speed it up. Okay. I've just realised, I think I might have been showing you that without it on the screen. Okay, so here we've got Light Rider running at 130. Obviously in our case it's a little bit different. You've got the session BPM from Ableton Link. You've got your DJ software over here running at 130 BPM. And then you have your master deck, which we've got on the left. And that's running at 130 BPM. Now, the problem comes when we have deck 2, because deck 2 is running at 120 BPM. So how do we synchronize this? Well, the first option is to actually press the sync button on your software, which will basically take that 120 and make it in sync with the master, which is 130. So it will look something like this. So you press the sync button and it takes your master tempo from your DJ software, it copies it over here and it makes it 130. But sometimes you want to keep it 120. You don't want to change it to 130, especially, sometimes you might be going from a fast-paced song to a slow-paced song. So in that case, what you need to do is you need to actually change the master to deck 2. And doing that, if I bring this in over here. Okay, so changing the master over here will take the 120. It will change the master in your software. It will change the session BPM, and it will change Light Rider. So I know this kind of sounds a bit involved, but I just wanted to kind of give you some background knowledge on how this system actually works. So what you're doing is you're changing the master, or you're changing the sync to sync your decks with your master tempo in your software, and then your software sending or receiving the master tempo to Ableton Link session, and then that's communicating with Light Rider. And all Light Rider's doing is just reading this session. So I'm going to give you an example, a real example in Traktor, so we can see what's going on. Okay, so if I play Midnight Funk again, I know it's a bit difficult to see on the stream, but this is basically 120 BPM. Tell you what, I'll bring up Traktor in the background as well so we can see what's going on. There we go. So I'm going to press play here. So this is the actual speed of the song, 120 BPM. Now I want to go to my next song, which is 174 BPM. It's going to be a terrible mix, by the way. There we go. This could be 175 or 86, however you want to look at it, but it's a different speed. So what we have to do here is hit the master button. You can just see it on the right here. And as soon as I hit the master button, 174 here is sent to Light Rider here. And if I want to go back to the other song, again I can hit the master button and it changes back to 120. And go back again, hit the master button, changes to 170. So as you see, it's very easy in Traktor to be able to synchronize everything. You just need to remember to hit that master button and it will transfer the tempo from one side over to the other side and then consequently over to Light Rider. Now the problem comes in the other software. So how long have we been going? 40 minutes. Okay, I'm just going to go through this very briefly. But I've got a version of Virtual DJ over here, which I'm going to bring up. Because I know there are a lot of Virtual DJ users. So I'll just stop this playing. Okay, Virtual DJ. So with Virtual DJ, you have to install Ableton Link as an add-on. And to do that, you go over to the settings up in the top right here. And you go over to extensions. You go to effects and audio effects. And you can type in Ableton Link here. And you can just click install. If it comes up with uninstall, you've already got it installed. Now there are two ways to run Ableton Link in Virtual DJ. The first way is to actually select it in the center here as a master effect. Now this is the way it should work. This is the same way in which Traktor works, but in fact there's a problem with this, and I'll show you what the problem is. So if you press the down arrow, you see you've got Ableton Link here. So you select it first, and then you need to switch it on like this. And if I play this, okay, it's not actually very happy, this software. It's going a bit slow. I'm not sure why, but anyway. So what I can do, I can bring it down here. Maybe it's this side actually. Let me just try this. Sorry, just bear with me a minute. I told you there'd be some technical problems here. Virtual DJ seems a little bit slow. I'm just going to try reloading this software. Just hold on 1 second. That was Piers, by the way. He'll be answering some questions later. Okay, let me quit Traktor. Okay, let's go back, see if we can open a Virtual DJ. Okay. See if we can find anything here. I have to be careful, by the way, what music I play, because obviously licensing, we don't want the stream to get blocked. Bear with me, I'm just trying to find some music that I can play for you here, which isn't, which is royalty free. Okay, you know what? I can't find anything. Let's just throw in the first thing that I can find on here. Here we go, this will do. Hopefully my stream won't get muted. Okay, see if we can play this. Okay. Turn that down a bit. Enable Ableton Link. Okay, there we go. So, if I just slow that down, I'm going to bring Light Rider back in here. and you see it's synchronized with Virtual DJ. Now the problem with Virtual DJ is when you select it as a master effect here, it will only synchronize with one deck. And I know there's been a few posts about this recently, and I believe this is a bug in the way the effect's been designed. Because what should happen is if you've got something on the other side, so if I just find another tune here, let's put this one over here. If I now try and play this side here, if I slow this down, as you see, it's not synchronized at all with Light Rider, as it should be. And I've tested this with a whole load of other Ableton Link, and it always seems to be the same. Basically, as soon as you enable Ableton Link here in the center, it synchronizes the deck that's playing, but it never sends the link from the other deck. So I can only imagine it's a bug. Now, there's a little workaround. There's another way of using Ableton Link, and that's to actually load it in the deck itself. So if I select Ableton Link over here, and then I can also select Ableton Link over here. And what it's done this time is it's actually created two Ableton Link sessions. So it's like these are two completely separate devices. So if I play this one now, I can now speed it up, and as you see, it now synchronizes with Light Rider. But as you see, it's caused another problem, because now the left side is automatically synchronizing with the right side. And the reason this is because they're both separate devices in the Ableton Link session. So when you change the BPM of one device, the BPM automatically changes of the other device. So again, this isn't a good way to set it up. And I think maybe Serato has a similar way of working, because I've seen a couple of videos from people trying to set it up with Serato. And this really isn't the best way to set it up, because okay, if you're mixing perfect beat match stuff, you know, if you're doing a house set or a drum and bass set where, you know, all the BPM is the same, then yeah, it works perfectly. But then as soon as you want to mix something that's two completely separate BPMs, you're going to have a problem. So I was playing about with this before. There is a bit of a hack. There's a way you can kind of work around it. It's not so simple, but let me show you. So imagine you've got this one playing. Okay, so this is around about 90 BPM. So it's sending 90 BPM. Now imagine we want to have a listen to this one in our headphones. So I'm going to switch Ableton Link off here. I'm going to play this in my headphones. I can change the BPM here without affecting the Ableton Link BPM. Then I can crossfade it in. So I've got this playing at 68 BPM. And then what you need to do is you need to move this one so it matches. So if we go down here to 68, so they both match. And then I need to click Ableton Link again. And now it's taking control. Then I go over here and I release Ableton Link from here. So yeah, not really very easy. But that is literally the only way you can get this to work. I'm just going to show you that one more time, because I've just realised I've got Light Rider as the big screen and Virtual DJ as the small screen, so I bet it was really difficult to see. So I'll show you one more time. So imagine, let's go to this one here. Let's play this track. Okay, so this is about 75 BPM. Let's imagine we want to listen to this one in our headphones. This track is about 85 BPM. So I'm going to play this track. I've turned off Ableton Link. I can test it out in my headphones. I can get the track ready. Then I can crossfade. Terrible mix, of course, but I'm doing this with a mouse. Okay, and then the one that's still playing, I need to move up to the new BPM. So I'll move this up to 85, like so. And then I can re-enable Ableton Link here and turn off Ableton Link over here. So yeah, that's how you need. That's the only way to get it working, really. The same goes for the Algoriddim app. I won't spend too long on this, but just to show you very briefly, if I zoom in on this a little bit. So this is a fantastic app, by the way. So this can connect to loads of different streaming services. You can tap in the middle here. If you go to settings over here, and you have Ableton Link at the bottom just here, you tap it, you enable it, great. But it's kind of got the same problem as everything else, whereby you can play this, and this will synchronize with Light Rider. I don't think I've got any audio coming out of this one, by the way. So this will synchronize 120 BPM, or 85. There we go. Let's bring that back up to 120. But then when you press this one over here, you've got to stay in sync. So you've got to crossfade like this to be able to stay in sync. Again, you can use a similar technique as before, whereby if you don't want it to sync, so for example, if this is, let's say, 86 BPM, you can be playing this track over here. This is 86, you can press play on this one. You can bring, this one's just stopped, it doesn't help. Okay, so I'm playing this at 120. This one's at 86, so if I press play, I can crossfade like so. Then I can adjust the BPM of this to get down to 86, like so. Then I can hit the sync here, bosh, and it's going to synchronize at the right BPM. So that's the only way to do it, really. As unfortunately, it's only Traktor that has kind of designed it properly with a proper master BPM where you sync the decks to the master. Hopefully, I'm going to send this tutorial to some of these developers, and hopefully they'll be able to suggest a better workaround, or they'll be able to put out a fix. So yeah, sorry that was a little bit long-winded. I was getting a few laggy issues from my laptop there. So I think what we're going to do now is take it to some questions. Let's see if Piers is about. So Piers is the guy who normally replies to your tickets, emails, and Facebook stuff. Are you there, Piers?
Hello.
Hello. And through the wonders of technology,
Right, how are we all doing? Right.
I could even
got a few questions just coming through now. Just having a read through.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one, bit of back to basics, but I think it'd be good to cover, which is from one of our friends actually, Martin Long.
Hey, Martin.
He's explaining, or asking us to explain what the difference is between clock and metronome, because that comes up quite a lot.
Sure. Okay. So just to recap from earlier on in the tutorial. So basically, let's fiddle around with these screens a second. So if I put this in big and I'll put this down here. No, let's do it the other way around. Let's have this up here and this down here. Okay. So I'm going to take out these scanners. So I've just got the X bricks and the moving head. So with clock, you literally change the speed just by moving the speed like this. So this is slow and this is fast. And it's not actually synchronized with anything. Then with metronome, it will sync with Ableton Link. Or if Ableton Link isn't enabled, you can tap the button here and it will change that way. Hope that's answered your question, Martin. All right, Piers. I think your mic's still muted, mate.
Oh, of course it is. Okay, so got another question here from Michael Grutch, I believe. Sorry if I pronounced your surname wrong there. But he is asking, he's got some software called Recordbox 6, and he's just wondering if we are familiar with it and how that compares to operation. Does it operate like Traktor, or does it operate like Serato and Virtual DJ?
Okay, good question. honestly, I haven't tried Rekordbox. I took Serato, Algoriddim DJ, Traktor, and Virtual DJ. It took me a good week to figure out how all those worked. I will add Rekordbox to my list. Maybe if anyone else has used Rekordbox and they could answer that question, that would be a big help. I'm going to make a note of that. Rekordbox. So sorry I couldn't provide an answer to that question. I'm going to look into it and I'm going to let you know.
Okay, perfect. Hopefully that will help all you guys out. We've got a question which I think's kind of already been covered, but just to sort of recap from Josh Reed, who is asking in Virtual DJ when it reads an incorrect BPM, is that coming from Lightrider or is it reading itself back?
Yes, perfect question. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's reading itself back. So you can only have one session tempo. So what's happening is, if you've got that Virtual DJ where you've got, do I still have it open here? I think I might have closed it now. Oh no, it's still here. Okay, so if you've got Virtual DJ over here, so if you've got Ableton Link enabled on the left and you try and change something on the right, these two sides are like two completely independent devices. So if you change one, the other one will change as well. You could even close Lightrider and it will probably do the same thing, because you're changing one, it's sending the BPM to the session, and then the other one's just reading the session. And that's why it's much better, where possible, not to load Ableton Link on each individual track, and instead try and load Ableton Link on the master and then synchronize each deck with the master. Just to recap the photo that I had before over here. So you have your session over here, you have your DJ software over here. This master BPM is inside your DJ software, and you want to synchronize these decks to the master tempo of your DJ software by jumping the master between deck 1 and deck 2. Hopefully that answers your question, and I'm going to keep in touch with Virtual DJ. Luckily, one of our developers over in France is good friends with one of the developers in Virtual DJ, so I'm going to send him a video, and hopefully they can help us out there. Back to you, Piers.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so next question is from Frank Smits, who is asking, what does auto mode do, and can this work with the sound effects?
Well, that's a very good question, because I actually had that on my to-do list to talk about and I forgot to mention it. So I shall mention that right now. So the auto mode by default always works, I think, with the BPM here. So it will work with either clock or with BPM. Now, if the BPM is attached to Link, the auto mood effects will work with Link. If Link's switched off, then the auto mood effects will work with Tap. Sometimes you might not want to use that, and you might want to use the microphone instead with the auto mood effects. And to do that, you basically open the main menu here, you go to settings at the bottom, and then you've got this thing here called auto mood mode, and it says BPM and pulse. So by default it's on BPM, which means it will work with Ableton Link or Tap. And if you select pulse, it will instead use the microphone of your tablet. Hope that answers your question.
Okay, perfect. So I think just running out of time, but I think we've got time just to squeeze in one more, which again should hopefully be a quick one.
Yeah, sure.
Will these videos be available for playback afterwards?
Yes, so like the last one, they'll be available to stream on Facebook. Unfortunately, because I just had that crash on Virtual DJ and I had to quickly choose a couple of songs, they were copyrighted songs, and often Facebook automatically blocks a stream if it contains copyrighted music. So we'll just have to see how that goes. I mean, obviously it was for demonstration and critical purposes only, so I should be allowed to include it in the stream. If I have any problems, what I'll probably do is cut out or mute that section of the stream so we're able to put it up. But like with the one last week, these are going to be available indefinitely on our Facebook page to stream back. And I understand I have talked a lot in this one, and I have jumped about a lot with the Ableton link, so you might want to watch it a couple of times. All right, Piers, we've got time for one more if you've got any, or...
I think that is it for the time being, but
right.
I will monitor the comment section for another half hour or so, see if anything comes up, and respond best I can.
That's great. Cheers, Piers. So tomorrow we're going to do another one on, I believe it's multibars, is it?
It is indeed that very popular topic of using multi-effects bars with Light Rider. I'm sure many people have tried to make it work, and we're going to show you how.
Yeah, exactly. It won't be as complicated or long as this one. It's basically just going to be about how to add the light and some tips for controlling the light. So yeah, we'll be here same time, same place tomorrow at 4 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. Europe, and for the people in America, I think it's quite early in the morning, right? It's like 8 or 9 o'clock. So they can always stream back anyway if they're sleeping in. So thanks everyone for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone.